Hi, I'm Amy Quigley with Valley Vision, and I'm interviewing the president and vice president of, I don't want to screw up this name, Camden Valley Cancer Foundation, that's the easy part, Quest to Cure Osteosarcoma. And I'm here with Victoria Blake and Chris Bailey, the president and vice president of the organization. So I guess this is going to be very broad, but tell us about CAM's foundation.
You go ahead and start.
All right, so let's see, it was last December, so December 24. We had a conversation. Camden got some kind of bad news with a doctor's appointment in Boston. And after receiving that news, literally within a couple hours, he went to Jen and I, his mother, and said that he'd like to start a scholarship in his name. And so we were like, you know, why are you thinking about a scholarship right now, kind of thing. And so we, of course, said yes. Obviously, we'll start a scholarship and support that. And so then from there, conversations ensued, and always been kind of in the back of our minds to look at maybe doing a foundation. And so conversations with Camden, with other people like Victoria and other folks, we decided to make it a little broader than just the scholarship, and actually started the foundation to help with research for osteosarcoma, potentially support patients, and then really just advocate that childhood cancer is not something that's well funded or supported.
Right.
And so, we felt like we wanted to try to do something a little more.
Yeah, it is interesting because, it seems like when a child gets cancer or has a childhood illness, like, oh, there's so much information about it. But then you look at the statistics, because it seems like there are a lot of fundraisers and there aren't. Like the money that is put into adult cancer versus childhood cancers. And honestly, let's face it, there's nothing more catastrophic than having a sick child. It's mind-blowing to me. So have you determined where the funds that you've raised will go yet? Tell us a little bit about how you'll determine that, like what research projects, like what cities, like how does that work?
Yeah, so initially, obviously, we'll fund scholarships. So the idea is to give a yearly scholarship, and that can be renewed by a local student here in the Valley that goes to Kennett.
That's great.
And then from there, also hope to support research. So that's something that down the road we'll do. Initially, we'll be looking at supporting Dana-Farber in Boston, because that's where Camden has received most of his treatment at the Jimmy Fund Clinic there. So we'll probably start there. There's an osteosarcoma expert that we're communicating with, and but then from there, there's a few organizations nationally that are involved in this, and so we'll consult with them, try to work with them collaboratively, so that we can try to find places where the money would be most well spent.
That's great. And getting back to the scholarship, so is there going to be a scholarship this year? When is that going to start?
The goal is to have one for this graduating class,
Okay.
2026.
Right.
There'll be an application, and the qualifications are broader. It's not about cancer. It's about tenacity and grit and perseverance. It's about a student's personality. It doesn't have to do with cancer. So that's a big, indicator to me that so many kids can apply for this scholarship. It's not linear to cancer.
Great. And how are you raising funds for that? I mean, I obviously know some of these answers but I've been to one of the fundraisers, but how are you raising funds?
So we started with a golf tournament. And the golf tournament needed a launch party. So between the two, the golf tournament, we kind of put it together within weeks. It was in the spring, we got the opportunity to have an early golf tournament at North Going Country Club. So we grabbed the date, and then it just snowballed into this incredible, event that was happening. And because it filled up so quickly, we wanted to expand it so that the entire Valley could join in and, celebrate the launch of this new foundation. And so we did a launch party that was open. I'd say there's probably 500 or 600 people that came through and just supported it. And then, so between that evening and the golf tournament, we were able to come up with a substantial amount of money to establish a foundation.
Right, and for people who don't know, because I've been involved with starting a nonprofit, starting a foundation is not an easy task. You have to involve lawyers and CPAs and somebody who can write, and you have to have money for logos, which we're going to talk about in a minute. I mean, it kind of goes on and on. The startup costs, like nobody thinks about it, and then you need letterhead. I don't know if you've gotten letterhead yet.
Right.
And there's printing, and in the beginning, a lot of times people will do things pro bono, or but then eventually that kind of does run out because I've been there.
Right.
Yeah,
and I think we kind of put the cart before the horse on that one. We knew what we wanted. We knew and then everything else just kind of fell into place. So there was an incredible outpouring of, there was pro bono work. There was, people that were offering their services, and which has been amazing. It is a crawl, walk, run. Right. So I'd say we're in the walking stage now of that.
So one thing that I was struck by, because I went to the launch party, which it's for such a great cause, and it was so much fun. Like, there were people I hadn't seen in like 20 years. But what I thought was really interesting, some of the other people that I spoke with were some of Cam's friends from University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. There was a huge group of them that came all the way up here.
I remember the first time I met Cam. We were waiting outside for one of our first classes freshman year, and I saw he had a prosthetic leg. My dad makes prosthetic legs, so we started talking about that. Then he told me he's a Patriots fan, so we came over to my dorm, went over to watch the Patriots-Panthers preseason game in my dorm. That's when I met him the first time, and then kind of just always became friends since then.
I met Cam at our first football game. Cole introduced me to him, and I didn't really get to know him that well at the game, but then we became really close right after that. We both had some similar stuff happen our freshman fall, and just knowing him kind of redefined what being strong means to me, and he's a big inspiration in my life, and I love him.
So Cam was on our basketball team for our intramural basketball team, and he was really just kind of our centerpiece. If he played well, the whole team played well. The only win we ever had was the game that Cam played out of his mind. It was just incredible to see. And he always had something to say, help somebody improve, and he's just such a great guy. And I just love him so much.
One of my favorite memories of Cam is just playing pickleball with him. A few years ago, we went on spring break, and the house had a pickleball court, and I think everyone spent probably 2-3 days, right, playing pickleball just together, and he was insane. He was way better than anyone else by far. It was ridiculous. That was really fun.
Yeah, I remember my first time meeting Cam was I was with his roommate at the time, Chinmay, and I didn't really know Cam too well, but we decided to go to a bar in Durham. We had a great time. And it's always just been so crazy to me because obviously I noticed he had a missing leg when I first met him, but every sport we've ever played with him, pickleball, basketball, even football, it's it blows my mind how much he doesn't let himself be defined by his problems, and it's just it's incredible to watch. He's such a dog.
And then I spoke with a couple people from Lake George. And so I know the logo, we talked about that earlier, integrates UNC, Lake George, North Conway. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So my nephew, best friend, has a company over in Lake George area, and he designed the logo incorporating some of Camden's favorite things. So there's a silhouette of Lake George. There's the bell tower from not the bell tower, the well at UNC on the shirt, and the Jackson Covered Bridge from where he grew up, and so all of those things that are important to him are incorporated into the logo. And
I know at recent football games you've been having some fundraisers. Tell us a little bit about that in case somebody might end up at a Kennett High School football game and they can give. Hint, everyone.
So the Kennett Boosters have been amazing. So it was a group of people that came together, understood the significance of establishing the foundation. Because Camden had played football, it was the right fit. So we have been afforded the opportunity to have a pop-up table at all of the home games where we can share information, we can sell merchandise, retail, there's hats, t-shirts, by donation there's stickers. And it just is keep getting the buzz out to people because Camden has since timed out of the Kennett High School. There are a lot of kids that didn't know Camden. It's reintroducing him back into the Kennett family as one of us and trying to make sure that everybody knows about it, to talk about it. So they allow us to do that. And then at halftime, they have all the freshmen go out with their helmets and collect funds. So at halftime, they go out, they've got bracelets to give away and stickers, and people have been incredibly generous, offering, whatever cash donation. And then at the end of the season, the foundation will be presented a check by the boosters. But that was a huge opportunity to get in front of a lot of people that may not have known Camden necessarily, but they know Chris through school. There's a lot of, it's a spider web, but it's nice to keep it fresh in everybody's mind that he is an alumni of Camden High School. So having that opportunity to reintroduce, we have a picture of him playing football.
Are you kidding me?
Not a bad first play in high school history.
Right, so it reminds people that he is one of us, and it is a local-based foundation, which is important.
Right, and for people who are just tuning in, so Cam Bailey was this incredible, when he was at Kennett, scholar athlete. And so this kid played football. I was always amazed by this, and he got diagnosed with cancer. He had to have an operation that, removed part of his leg, most of his leg. And then he started playing football again, like the next year with a prosthetic leg. Like, it's so, he was amazing.
Quarterback.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing, and he was good. Just because I feel like we kind of browsed over that. And Chris is a history teacher at the high school. Yes, helping the youth of America every day.
Alumni.
Right,
I'd
yes,
say almost everybody on there is an alumni.
On your board.
Outside of
Almost everybody.
Yeah. This is good. There's
One or two.
a good cast of characters on this. But even I'm looking at some of the board members, and one of the board members is in his 20s, and he is not alum, but his dad is an alum of Kennett High School.
Right.
It's a great group. All right, so what's up next? What can we look forward to with some of your local sponsors and events and things like that?
Yeah, I think we've decided we'll do similar as what we did this past spring. Another golf tournament. Next to football, Camden's favorite sport's golf. He's a good golfer as well, and so that's kind of why we chose the golf piece. And he worked at North Conway, and so that was a natural fit that he would we'd have the tournament there. And so I envision not a launch party, but just more of a broader party for the Valley to come and see what the foundation's up to and so forth. And so we'll definitely do that. And then from there, once we get a little bit more organized, we're still waiting for some of the official paperwork from the IRS and so forth. We are a 501c3, and that's all official, but there's some other legwork pieces from an accounting standpoint that we need to get fully organized with.
Yeah.
And then,
it's
it's
really
very, very tedious, very long process. So
Yeah.
we'll look at other local things. The Kennett hockey team has also said that they're going to support us with their cancer game. And other groups have approached us and offered to help as well, and so we'll be researching those types of things as well.
Great. And I know before we got on camera, one of the things that you were both a little bit stressed about is like how to thank everyone properly, because you've had big donors, but everybody I guess nobody said no to your auction and fundraising efforts.
That's
It's amazing.
correct. It was overwhelming, and it was a very crunch time. I'd say we had like 2 or 3 weeks really to get it all lined up, and there was not. The golf tournament filled up based
Yes,
off
it
of
did.
sponsorships
Yes.
without even being introduced to the general public. So there was a lot of people that were like, "How do I get involved?" And so that part then became, we did the silent auction and a raffle the night before to kind of make it a weekend event, because people are traveling from Lake George and from North Carolina and from all over the country.
Right.
Realistically, when you look at it, so to give them a weekend up here, it was pretty amazing. There's too many to thank, which is a good problem to have. It also makes me feel eternally grateful that we live here in a very special place.
Right. The individual thank yous will certainly go out. There'll be more public thank yous, but it's hard to
It is
name a
hard.
few now.
It is.
But you're
without,
thanking everyone
without
now.
missing it.
Yes.
right.
Thank you, everyone.
Yes, it's unbelievable.
Thank you,
the
community.
Support's been overwhelming.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
Victoria said, we couldn't even make it public because it would have sold out. And
Right.
and so it was really,
Which is also
really
a huge
unbelievable.
reflection of the Bailey family, right, as a whole. Like
Right.
it's an incredible family to support at the same time. Like you wouldn't not everybody would get that same turnout. Not sure my family would get the same turnout.
They're very nice.
No, but it's true.
No, they are
That's-
very nice. The
it's-
boys are all nice.
Yes,
they're great kids.
they're great.
Yeah.
Everybody's great, and it's a good cause. And obviously, the goal with any foundation like this is to not be necessary, right? Like
Right.
for them to find the cure and to not need us, but in
Right.
the interim, to be able to provide support and education and resources. I'm sure the diagnosis is overwhelming
Right.
at the at the onset, and to be able to defer back to a family that's experienced it, or reference things that have worked or avenues is a gold mine for a new family undergoing
Right.
this. So it doesn't necessarily, it's not just about a silent auction supporting a foundation. It's about actually nurturing a cure at
Right.
the end of the day.
And what I'm struck by is that Cam is in charge of pretty much every decision, right? He has a great board, but he, at the end of the day, is the person who's making the decisions. And how
Yes.
old is he? Is he
Yeah.
23?
He is 21.
Wow,
Yeah,
he's
so
young.
Yeah, so he's still young, and so he is on the board. He's officially a board member,
Right.
but yeah, he prefers to kind of take the back seat, and everything gets run through him. And he participates in some of the board meetings with us and so forth. But everything is really
It's his vision.
his
I
vision,
love it.
right? His
Yeah.
vision gets his blessing, and
We'll be on emails, and it'll be colors, and all
The
right down to
brand-
the
branding is very important.
It is, and he has a vision, and so it's important
Yeah.
to all of us on the board that it is streamlined into what Camden is envisioning, because this is his legacy
Right.
to the valley. So
Right.
it's important that it reflects what he wants. So he is actually the most important member on the board.
Right. And the quest to cure was his football number in high
so
school?
yeah, so number 2 was his football number, but really it was all of his numbers growing up. With baseball, back to Little League, Cal Ripken, and basketball number, and then ultimately football number, and so that's his favorite number. And so it was nice to be able to incorporate that, and we were trying to come up with some kind of catchy phrase, and I think it was actually Victoria and her husband that came up with the quest to cure, and just fell in love with it, right away. And that's unfortunately that's the goal. After 40 years, it's the same treatment.
Really?
Yeah. So 40 years ago, you would have received the exact same treatment as what he received. So.
Wow.
It's time for making some advancements. With this particular cancer. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
So 40 years, so that leads me to believe it's not a common cancer.
Not very common. It's about 1,000 people, about 1,000 Americans, I should say, that are diagnosed per year. Those are mostly children. It can happen to adults, but the vast majority are children that get diagnosed, and it's a bone cancer, and so compared to other childhood cancers, it would be considered rare.
And
Definitely.
so you have another event coming up on by the way, so my number in sports is always the 17th, and my wedding anniversary is on October 17th, and this
well,
is
great.
also the day you guys are having the Kennett Football Tackles Cancer Game. What's that all about?
So as Victoria was saying earlier, this is the boosters for the last several years have put on a specific home game, cancer game. They call it, Kennett Tackles Cancer. And they bring in some vendors. They have a tailgate after school before the game, so 5 to 7, I believe, is the tailgate. And there's going to be some yard games and some food trucks and things like that there. And it's really just to raise awareness. And they've chosen different families or organizations to support in the past. And so this year we were fortunate that they chose our organization to support. And so that's kind of the culmination, if you will, of them supporting the foundation, this fall,
Right.
is this game on the 17th.
So if people wanted more information on the game on the 17th, because it sounds like there's a lot going on, would they go to your website, Cam's website, or the schools, like the boosters? Do you know?
Yeah, the boosters. So I know the boosters is promoting it on Facebook
Kennett High
and
School
other
Boosters.
social media.
Okay.
Our foundation will be, promoting it as well. The website is a work in progress. It's going to be hopefully released any day now. but logistically, there's just been a lot to doing that.
There's a lot.
So hopefully that will be out shortly.
Yeah.
Social media.
Social media is the
mostly.
biggest pain in the butt
Right.
with any nonprofit, I'm telling you. So you know what? You get the youngest person on your board
Yes.
dealing with that.
Exactly.
Yes,
Yeah, we are not doing the social media.
No,
for
exactly.
this.
We've had a lot of help
We've
from the
deferred to-
younger generation.
Do your kids' eyes, they
Yeah.
roll. My daughter's like, how do you not understand this? Like,
Oh,
Yeah, we're embarrassing.
Now, my older son's girlfriend's helping with the
Braden's
website.
girlfriend's doing the
and-
website.
Okay.
It's
One
a
of the
gift
other-
to have
Right.
that, and that's even where Jack Taylor comes in. There's a whole other demographic out there that
Right.
is sharing information drastically different than we do. So
Right.
we are leaning in on that pretty hard.
right, because they're hip. Even if we
Right.
think we're hip.
We are though.
Yeah.
Don't forget, we're the OGs. But
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. You know what I say to my daughter when she says, like, with the technology, Mom, you stink at this. I'm like, oh, and your grammar stinks.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
She doesn't
There
really
you go.
care.
She doesn't care No.
At all.
No.
All right, so your website's getting worked on. So if people do want information on the 17th of October, go to Facebook Kennett High School Boosters. There'll be information.
We'll be sharing social media.
Yeah, social media
Yeah,
stuff,
we'll have
and-
it. The Camden Valley Cancer Foundation has an
Great.
Instagram that's
Great.
very active, and then anyone who sees it and wants to repost it, that's a huge help to us. Like it's
Okay.
important that everybody chimes in whatever capacity they can, because there are alumni all over the country
Right.
that either know Chris or Camden or a member of the family
Right.
that may not have heard about it. So just spreading that out so that when we come to a place again next spring, when it's time to do the golf tournament and
Right.
the welcome party, it won't be a launch party necessarily, but we're still gonna dig in deep for the community to come together and celebrate something amazing coming out of something that wasn't super awesome to start out.
Right, no. I mean, it's really great to be able to take a bad story and do something positive with it.
And I think that's important. That is why we call it the legacy. Like it's not going to be, it's an opportunity for people to help so
Right.
many other people. This
Right.
isn't necessarily a Camden situation. This is any family that's going to be faced with it. Inevitably, there's going to be another family that's going to get the same diagnosis that the Baileys got, and then where do you go
Right.
from there? Well, that's where we can jump in and offer support and guidance,
Right.
and hopefully garner some attention from, other companies that are doing work for, fundraising
Right.
opportunities that we can learn from. There are other people we're not reinventing the wheel here.
Right.
We are going to jump in place. I'm actually doing a virtual conference on Friday through the Osteosarcoma Foundation on, other opportunities to fundraise and to make
Oh.
clear. And we can all stand to learn more, right?
Right.
It's education.
Right.
It's really
Curious
important.
about that.
Yeah.
I mean, even you could, if they're doing things and like, let's say a city with a marathon or something, because you can,
Exactly.
you might be able to tag on to that. You never know. Because
100%.
this is a good story, this organization, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, we want to
Yeah.
kind of complement what other groups are already doing, not reinvent the wheel or
Right.
create
Right.
something
Yeah.
new. Perhaps
Right.
it's more supporting, and really goes back to Camden wanting to start the scholarship was because the community was so supportive of him and our family all
Right.
these years, and so he wanted to be able to do something to give back, and then obviously the foundation has grown from that initial
And it's an
conversation.
opportunity for
So,
other people
yeah.
who do have experience
Right.
to reach out to us as well.
Right.
So there's also that constant plea of what are you doing that's working for you and what's not
Right.
working for you. Like
Right.
coming together, making this symbiotic relationship where, it's about raising funds and awareness. How can we streamline that to make it as, useful to everybody?
Right.
This is not just about us, in North Conway or the Mount Washington Valley. There could be a family in Concord or, outside of the
Right.
valley that is going to benefit from this as well. So the
Right.
more eyes that we can get on it and people can say, oh, I've heard about, the Quest to Cure, you should look into that.
Right.
That's amazing.
And one of the ultimate down the road goals would be to bring families, patients up to the Mount Washington Valley
Oh, wow.
and kind of host them for a weekend or several days that they can kind of get to time away from the hospital setting
Which is great.
and enjoy the valley. We've been
Wow.
so fortunate to take advantage of so many opportunities that we've been given through the Jimmy Fund Clinic.
Right.
And so, Camden, again, wants to be able to support other families
Right.
in a similar way.
That's a really
So,
great idea. It's like Make-A-Wish in North Conway
Yeah.
or, the Mount Washington
Right, and
Valley.
for the whole family to
Right.
be able to, leave all of the logistics behind and come and actually enjoy. I mean, how much is there to do here? So much,
So
right?
much, yeah.
It's a dream for people to be able to get away for a weekend.
And hospitals, it's just the worst. Misery does not discriminate. You find out when you're in a hospital with your kid. It's like the worst. And I think that's a great, great idea. So in the next year, and we don't need specific dates because I don't even know if you have them yet. So we have October 17th, and people can get information on that through Facebook, through the Camden High School Boosters, through your Instagram, because you have savvy young kids dealing with that. Not that we're not cool. And then what else can we look forward to? There's golf at some time in the spring.
So this winter, the
Okay.
hockey team will be having their cancer game,
Great.
I spoke with Mike Lane, the head coach, and so they're going to do. I think it's the middle of January, but I don't know if they've picked the exact date. And,
Okay.
so they always again pick a charity or a family to support, and so again we're fortunate enough to have been chosen. So that'll be in the middle of January, and then from there the big events in May again.
Spring,
It'll be
right.
like the third
Great.
Monday, I think, in May is when
Where-
the tournament will be, and then hopefully we'll do
Right.
something similar.
Where it could be 90 degrees or 40 degrees.
It could be
Yeah,
raining,
yeah,
it could be
exactly.
snowing, it could be 75 and sunny. Who knows?
So hopefully a little
Great.
better weather next year. But
Great. And then as time goes on, you'll probably have staple events every year, like your golf tournament.
Yeah.
Like that's
Exactly.
just
Yeah.
how it usually goes,
Right.
right? They're a lot of work. Events are a lot
Yeah.
of work.
Yeah.
But it's great the community's back to you. I just want everyone to know, I tried to get into the golf tournament, but I was shut down.
Even Amy Quigley couldn't get on the
Oh,
roster.
really?
I know.
Right.
I got like 3 phone calls. They're like, Amy's kind of upset that she's not there. I'm like,
I just like, oh, come on, just call. You can get me in. They're like, no, we can't.
we can't.
So she's
Yeah.
interviewing us today to
Yeah,
make sure we
exactly.
don't
It's all
leave her,
good.
leave
It's all
her
good,
out.
yeah.
Leave
I'm
her
not a-
out.
I'm not a good
Now
golfer.
that's the guilt.
all right.
Yeah. I golf like 3 times a year.
It's not about the golf.
That's right. It's not. So what are we missing? Like the community's been amazing. You have a cast of characters on your board who are great. Cam is like a rock star. This is amazing. But before we wrap this up, like what else? What should we share?
I think the opportunity to buy retail, purchasing retail
yes.
is a big one.
Oh,
So
at
that
the
will come
17th,
out
yeah.
on the, that'll be available on the 17th on the website. So when you're thinking Christmas presents or, if you have friends, a lot of my friends, we don't buy each other gifts anymore. We donate to
That's a
a
great
charity
idea.
in their name instead. So if that's something that's on your radar,
Right.
we'd love to be, considered for that. And that's,
Great.
an opportunity for someone to do something nice. I don't want the red sweater from
Right.
TJ Maxx. I would much rather have you take that money and put it towards something that matters. And so there will be a drive along those lines, and the retail will hopefully be available all the time, and we'll switch it up. This is this year's, then there'll be a second annual, like it'll switch up every year. So
Yeah. And so when your website's up, that component will be part of the
yes.
website.
And right
Okay.
now we have a QR code that will come up on the screen where you can, if they're so inclined to donate now,
donate.
this is amazing. If you wanted to learn more about it,
Okay.
you can.
Yeah, at the end of this broadcast, I'm sure there will be a
Right.
a
The
screen
opportunity to
that
check it out.
shows the PayPal link
And keep checking.
stuff
And
like
social
that,
media.
so.
And just
Right.
follow. And then, everyone. And share the word. That's really important. Wear the hats when you're on vacation. Wear the T-shirt when you're at
Right.
a ball game somewhere.
Right.
Like, just keeping that word,
Okay.
keep it fresh.
And before we let you go, what is Cam saying about Bill Belichick and UNC? What are his thoughts on this?
Interesting
see the
question.
bit on that one.
Yeah, I think he was excited, obviously, to
Yeah.
have him, go to UNC.
Right.
Obviously, coaching at the college level, especially in the NIL world, is very different than
Right.
professional football. So, it's probably been a pretty humbling experience for Bill.
Yeah.
But on a neat note, his roommate from college just came up a couple weeks ago, flew up, and they went to the Red Sox game where they clinched the playoffs. And then on Sunday they went to the game where the Patriots creamed the Carolina Panthers.
Sweet.
And so his roommate was not too thrilled about that. But I mention it because he brought a signed football from Bill Belichick. So that was kind of
That's
a neat,
really sweet. I was
kind
going
of
to
a
make
neat,
a
kind of a neat thing.
dig
Right.
about like the 28-year-old girlfriend, but now I won't.
Well, yeah, and UNC is also, we're looking forward to working with them as well. It's like spreading the
Right.
word through their channels as well. So
Right.
as much as, it becomes a New England thing, we are eternally grateful for anybody who takes the time to
Right.
support the Camden Valley Cancer
Yeah.
Foundation.
And on that note, we're working with the UNC football team, hoping
Wow.
the last their last home game. I think it's November 22nd when they play Duke.
Okay.
I believe there's going to be some kind of recognition of Camden and the foundation. We're working on the logistics of that, and so that'll be
Wow.
kind of
Yeah,
neat.
so watch that.
So, like the colors, very specific to UNC blue, again, all these things were chosen
Right.
with Camden in mind and his, his love for, UNC and so forth.
Yeah.
And,
His friends were so nice.
Yeah.
And most, they were all
Incredible.
like Southern boys. Like, maybe a couple from Jersey, I don't remember, but they were nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everybody's been super
yeah.
supportive.
Since December, I think there's been at least 3 or 4 times where they've come and visited.
Great.
So it's been really, really nice for him to,
Right.
because he really, in a short time, he made some really incredible lifelong friends. So
That's great.
it was a really special place.
Great. Well, thank you for doing this.
No, thank you very
I
much.
appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate
It
it.
was
We'll
fun.
get you in on the golf
Yes.
tournament.
I know, yeah.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
yeah.
now-
just
now we
secure
have
your
to.
You
spot.
just shove
Yeah.
me on a
Yeah.
team.
Yeah.
If someone needs a fourth, just shove me.
Right.
I'm fun.
Yeah, me too. But I don't golf.
Great.
Well, thank you
Well,
very
thank you very
much.
much.
All
I
right.
appreciate it. And thank you, Valley Vision, for,
Yes,
Thank you, Valley
yes,
Vision.
yes,
for having
thank
us.
you so much.
And Bill. So go to the game on the 17th if you can.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank
Great.
Thank you.